All right. So today we're going to dive into something that I think is super important in education.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we create these really positive behavior environments in schools.
Right.
And even more than that,
Yeah,
how we help those positive changes really stick around for the long haul.
absolutely.
So we're talking about PBIS today,
Yes.
positive behavioral interventions and supports.
Very important topic.
It is. And, there's a ton of research out there on this.
Oh, yeah, tons.
So we've really tried to sort of like sift through all of that and pull out what we think are like the most crucial insights
Mm.
into how to make these programs really work.
Yep, and sustain them over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of this as like your super condensed guide to PBIS and what makes it actually sustainable.
Right. A lot of people have probably heard of PBS at this point.
Yeah, I would think so.
Pretty much worldwide,
Sure.
from preschool all the way up through high school.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of research showing that it does a pretty good job of improving student behavior.
Yeah.
And, what's interesting is that it can even improve academic outcomes as well.
Right. It's funny you should mention that because I was
Yeah.
looking at some research by Wilson and Lipsey,
Oh, yeah.
and they did like a big analysis a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And they found that these kinds of interventions, these school-wide interventions,
Mm.
can really reduce aggressive and disruptive behaviors.
Oh, absolutely.
But what's really interesting
Yeah. What's that?
is that the effects were even stronger
Mm-hmm.
for students who came from, kind of disadvantaged backgrounds.
Right.
And also for students who are already kind of exhibiting those higher risk behaviors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the potential is definitely there.
Absolutely.
But as we'll be talking about today,
Yeah.
actually making those changes last,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the real sort of like challenge comes in.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Right, exactly. So before we jump into like all the nitty gritty details of PBIS and how to make it stick, I think it would be helpful to just briefly touch on a couple of key concepts that are going to come up again and again throughout our conversation.
Okay. Sounds good.
So the first one is implementation fidelity.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, what on earth does that even mean?
Yeah. Fidelity.
But it's actually pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
The way I like to think about it is like,
Yeah. How do you think about it?
if you're baking a cake from a recipe,
Okay. I like this analogy.
fidelity is all about making sure you're using the right ingredients
Right.
and that you're following those instructions.
Like you're not just eyeballing it.
Exactly. You're not just winging it.
Yeah.
You're actually like sticking to the plan.
Yeah.
And so in the world of PBIS, Duesenberry and his colleagues defined it as basically how well educators and other providers
Mm-hmm.
are delivering the program
Mm-hmm.
in the way that the people who created it actually intended it to be delivered.
That's fidelity.
That's fidelity. So let me like push that cooking analogy just a tad bit further.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
It's not enough to just say like, oh, I'm baking a cake.
Right.
You need to actually use flour and sugar and eggs and all that good stuff
I'm making powder.
and baking powder.
Yes. And bake it at the right temperature.
At the right temperature
Yeah.
for the right amount of time.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a crumbly mess.
Right. And so similarly with PBIS,
Mm-hmm.
you can't just pick and choose like, oh, I like this part, but I'm going to skip that part.
Right. You got to use the whole recipe.
You got to use the whole recipe.
Okay.
You got to implement all those core components
Yeah.
the way they were designed in order for it to be truly effective.
Okay. I get it.
So that's fidelity.
Okay.
The second big idea, and this is really like the heart of what we're talking about today, is sustainability.
All right. Sustainability is so important.
Yes. And McIntosh and his team defined this as basically the ongoing implementation of a practice
Okay.
with a high degree of fidelity.
So it's building on that first idea.
It's building on that first idea that continues to produce those good results
Mm-hmm.
over the long term,
Not just a one-hit wonder.
not just a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got it.
So it's not just about how long a program exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's about maintaining that quality,
Right.
that effectiveness.
Integrity of it.
Yeah, year after year.
Year after year.
So it's not a flash in the pan.
Nope.
It's not about, getting some good numbers for a little while and then letting things slide.
Mm-hmm.
It's about building something that lasts.
Right. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right, marathon, not a sprint.
Okay.
So it's about creating this foundation for sustained positive change
Mm-hmm.
in the school's culture and student behavior.
Absolutely. And to really understand how we get to that sustainability,
Yeah.
I think it helps to take a step back and look at what is PBIS? Really?
Right. What are we even talking about here?
Yeah. What is this thing?
So PBIS
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a single program.
Right. It's a framework,
It's more like a framework, a system.
a system. Yeah.
And it's actually become super widespread,
It really has.
especially in the United States.
Uh-huh.
I was looking at some figures, and I think back in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
almost 20,000 schools across the U.S. were using PBIS.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot of schools.
That is a lot of schools.
And it's not just in the U.S. either.
Right. It's global.
It's global.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's being used or adapted in so many countries,
Mm-hmm.
like Australia,
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
Belgium, Canada, Malaysia, Norway, Singapore, South Korea.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's pretty impressive, right?
It is.
And in Australia,
Yeah.
it's often called positive behavior for learning, or PBL,
I've heard that. Yeah.
especially in New South Wales.
Uh-huh.
And they've kind of like, integrated PBIS with their own kind of like quality teaching framework.
Interesting. So they're adapting it
They're adapting
to
it.
fit their own system.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And then in Norway, they have this program called PAS-LS,
PAS-LS.
which is all about like creating these really positive behavior,
Mm-hmm.
supportive learning environments,
Mm-hmm.
and really focusing on like interactions between people.
I like that.
Right. But like no matter where you go,
Yeah.
the goal is pretty much the same.
What's that?
It's to prevent problem behaviors.
Right.
Before they even start.
Be proactive.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
And to really cultivate positive skills in students.
Right. Equip them with the skills they need
Exactly.
to be successful.
So we've got all these different names.
Yeah.
All these different countries.
Mm-hmm.
But the core ideas are pretty similar.
Like pretty universal.
Yeah. It's really fascinating.
It is.
Now, when we talk about PBIS,
Okay.
it's not just like a single thing.
Right.
It's actually like a multi-tiered system of support.
Yeah, like a pyramid
Like a pyramid.
with different levels.
And each tier kind of offers like a different level of intervention.
Right. More and more support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the very bottom,
Uh-huh.
we have tier 1,
Okay. The foundation.
the foundation,
That's just it.
which
Yeah.
is universal, meaning it applies to everyone.
Every student in the school.
Every student in the school. So these are school-wide practices,
Mhm.
systems, things like that,
Okay.
that are designed to establish this really positive behavior as the norm,
The expectation.
the expectation for everyone.
Got it.
So tier 1 is all about like setting those clear expectations for how students should behave
Mm-hmm.
in all the different settings in the school.
Not just in the classroom.
Not just in the classroom,
Yeah.
but like in the hallways, in the cafeteria,
At recess.
at recess,
Yeah.
on the bus,
Yeah. Everywhere.
everywhere.
Okay.
And it's also about actually teaching those expectations explicitly.
Oh, so you don't just assume kids know.
Right. You don't just like put up a poster and be like, okay, now you know how to behave.
Yeah, you got to teach it.
You got to teach it.
Practice it.
Give them opportunities to practice, to get feedback.
Right.
And then, of course, sometimes misbehavior does happen.
Uh-huh.
So tier 1 also includes these like consistent and constructive ways to respond to that when it does occur.
So it's not just about preventing.
Right.
It's also about responding appropriately.
Exactly. And what's really interesting
Yeah. What's that?
is that the OSEP Center on PBIS,
Okay.
they estimate that tier 1,
Mm-hmm.
when it's implemented well
Right. With fidelity.
with fidelity,
Yeah.
can be effective for about 80% of students.
Wow. So
Or-
the vast majority
The vast majority.
of students just need that first tier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
That is huge.
Because if you can get that foundation really solid,
Mm-hmm.
then you're already like way ahead of the game.
Right.
But of course, there are always going to be some students
Mhm.
who need a little bit extra help.
Right. Some more targeted support.
Right. And that's where tier 2 comes in.
Okay. Tier 2.
So this is for that 10 to 15%
Okay.
who are still struggling even with those universal supports in place.
Mm-hmm.
So these are more specialized interventions,
Mm-hmm.
often designed for like small groups
Yeah.
or even individual students.
Mm.
And tier 2 isn't just about doing more of what's happening in tier 1.
Okay. So it's different.
It's different. It's more focused.
Mm-hmm.
And often it targets like specific social emotional skills.
Okay.
So for example, there's this program called Check, In Check Out, or CICO,
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
where students have these like really brief, regular check-ins with a supportive adult
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day
Okay.
to kind of monitor their behavior and get
Uh-huh.
that positive reinforcement.
I see.
So usually it involves like the student checking in with a designated adult
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the day,
Okay.
reviewing those expectations,
Right.
setting a goal for the day,
Okay.
and then they carry around this like behavior report card
Uh-huh.
that teachers provide feedback on throughout the day.
I see.
And then at the end of the day, they check out with that same adult,
Okay.
review their progress, and get that positive acknowledgement.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of like this built-in system of support and accountability.
Yeah, I like that.
And then there's also programs like Check and Connect,
Check and connect.
which is often about establishing this like mentoring relationship
Mm-hmm.
between a student and a caring adult
Right.
to provide that extra layer of support
Mm-hmm.
and connection to the school.
So they have someone they can go to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Tier 2 can also include things like small group social skills instruction or, even targeted academic supports,
Right. If that's what they need.
if that's what they need.
Oh, right.
So it's really about like, providing that extra level of intervention
Yeah.
for those students who need it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Tier 1, that broad foundation,
The base of the pyramid.
the base of the pyramid. We've got Tier 2, offering that more focused support.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to Tier 3,
Okay. The top.
the top of the pyramid,
Right.
which is the most intensive and individualized level of support.
Right.
And this is really for that small percentage,
Mm-hmm.
usually around 1 to 5% of
Mhm.
students who are experiencing those like more chronic and significant behavioral challenges.
Right. The kids who are really struggling.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so Tier 3 requires these like highly individualized behavior support plans,
Okay.
but they're still aligned with those school-wide universal expectations.
So it's not like they're off doing their own thing.
Exactly. They're still part of that same system.
Yeah.
And these plans are really data-driven.
Mm-hmm.
They're often informed by what's called a functional behavioral assessment,
Okay. A functional behavioral assessment.
which sounds really fancy.
It does sound fancy.
But it's actually a pretty simple idea.
What is it?
It's basically about trying to understand why.
The why.
The why.
So important.
Why is a student engaging in a particular behavior?
Yeah. What's the purpose?
What's the function? What's the need that that behavior is meeting for them in that moment?
Because behavior is communication.
Exactly.
Mm.
And once you understand that function,
Mm-hmm.
then you can start to develop interventions that are much more targeted and effective.
Right. So you're not just trying to punish the behavior.
Exactly.
You're trying to address the root cause.
You're trying to get to the root of the problem.
I like that.
So, for example,
Yeah.
if a student is acting out
Mm-hmm.
because they're feeling anxious,
Okay.
then giving them a detention might not actually be helpful.
Right. It might just make the anxiety worse.
It might make it worse.
Exactly.
So you need to teach them some coping skills
Right. You need to teach them some coping skills.
or help them to feel more comfortable in that situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I also noticed that at this Tier 3 level,
Mm-hmm.
there's often this big emphasis on bringing in supports from outside the school as well.
Right. So it's not just the school's responsibility.
Exactly. It's like a team effort.
Yeah.
So things like mental health services,
Okay.
community resources,
Family support.
family support, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So some examples of Tier 3 interventions
Okay.
might be like wraparound services,
Mm-hmm.
the prevent, teach, reinforce model.
Or those function-based interventions that we were talking about.
Right, the ones that are tailored to the individual student.
Exactly.
Mm.
So the big idea is that by having this like continuum of support
Mm-hmm.
across all 3 tiers,
Right.
schools can be really proactive and effective
Right.
in addressing those challenging behaviors.
Right. And create a positive environment
Exactly.
for all students.
Which ultimately leads to, better outcomes for everyone.
That's the goal.
Yeah. So, we've talked about like what PBIS is,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen that it can be really effective.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence.
But the really big question
Uh-huh, the $1 million question.
is, how do we make those effects last?
Right. How do we make it sustainable?
Exactly. How do we ensure that it's not just this like temporary thing?
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to this, really significant challenge of sustainability.
It's a big one.
It is. And, it's kind of counterintuitive
How so?
because you think like, okay, if something works,
Mm-hmm.
if it's improving behavior,
Yeah.
if it's creating this more positive school climate,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't it just keep working?
Yeah, you'd think it would just keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the research shows that it's actually a much more complex issue.
Right. It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. It's not just about how long a program is in place.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the quality of the implementation.
That fidelity.
That fidelity word, the integrity of it,
Right.
and even the specific characteristics of the school environment.
Right. Every school is different.
Every school is different.
So what works in one might not work in another.
Exactly.
Huh.
So it's not just about like that initial enthusiasm,
Mm-hmm.
that initial effort.
Yeah, that initial push.
Right. It's about maintaining that focus over time,
The long game.
the long game.
Okay.
And I think some research that really highlights this
Yeah, what's that?
is a study by Warren and colleagues
Okay.
back in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
They tracked the impact of PBIS
Okay.
over several years,
Mm-hmm.
and they found that while they saw some initial reductions
Hmm.
in things like discipline referrals and suspensions in that first year,
Okay. That's good.
those positive trends didn't last.
Oh, so they faded over time.
They faded over time.
That's a bummer.
In fact,
Yeah.
those rates actually started to climb back up.
Oh, no.
And they even surpassed the levels
Wow.
that they were at before they even started PBIS.
So it was like they went back to the old ways.
It's like they went back to the old ways.
That's not bad.
And then there's another study by Simonson and colleagues.
Okay.
In 2012,
Mm-hmm.
they looked at data from schools in Illinois
Okay. Illinois?
over like a 7-year period,
It's a much longer study.
a much longer study.
Mm-hmm.
And they found this really interesting thing.
What's that?
They saw a decrease in office discipline referrals.
Okay. So less kids getting sent to the office.
Less kids getting sent to the office,
That's good.
but no real decrease in out-of-school suspensions.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
It is kind of weird.
So it's like they were still getting in trouble,
Mm.
but it was just being handled differently.
Maybe they changed their policies
Maybe they changed their policies.
or how they were recording things.
Right. So even though we have all this evidence
Yeah.
that PBIS can work,
Mm-hmm.
these studies show us that it's not a guarantee.
Right. You can't just assume it's going to work forever.
Exactly. And it really makes you think about
Yeah.
the cost of not being able to sustain these changes.
That's a good point. What is the cost?
Because if you invest all this time,
Yeah.
all this effort,
All this money.
all this money into implementing PBIS,
Mm-hmm.
and you see some early results,
Yeah, you get excited.
you get excited. But then those gains fade away.
That's gotta be discouraging.
It's got to be super
It's
discouraging.
pretty involved.
And it's not just discouraging.
Right.
It's also like a waste
Of resources.
of resources,
To defeat
time,
time.
energy. And McIntosh and his colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
they really emphasized this point.
What did they say?
They said that if we fail to maintain these effective programs,
Mm-hmm.
we're basically wasting all of that.
Yeah, all that investment.
All that investment
Goes down the drain.
goes down the drain.
That's a shame.
When we lose out on all those improvements
In student behavior.
in student behavior,
In academic achievement.
in academic achievement
Uh-huh.
that we were initially seeing,
It's a big loss.
that's a huge loss.
Yeah,
So that's why it's so important to
Uh-huh.
understand these factors that influence sustainability.
absolutely. So we can do it better.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So let's get into those factors.
Okay, let's do it.
What are the things that actually contribute to the long-term success of PBIS?
Okay, so based on the research, we can break these factors down into 4 main dimensions.
4 dimensions.
Think of them like the 4 legs of a table.
Okay.
You need all 4 to be strong.
To hold it up.
Exactly. If one is weak, the whole thing can collapse.
Makes sense.
So these 4 dimensions are administrator support, ongoing professional development and technical assistance for teachers, a focus on classroom-level implementation fidelity,
Okay.
and then effective evaluation.
All right. So 4 big areas.
4 big areas.
Let's start with administrator support.
Okay, administrator support.
This seems pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
Like, if the leadership of the school
Mm-hmm.
isn't behind something,
Uh-huh.
it's probably not going to go very far.
Right. It's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah. So what does administrator support actually look like?
Okay, so it's more than just saying, yeah, PBIS is great.
Right. It's got to be more than just words.
Exactly. It's about actions.
Okay.
So things like agreeing with the principles of PBIS, allocating the necessary resources.
So money,
Like money, yeah.
time,
Personnel,
personnel.
and providing time for staff training
Mm-hmm.
and team meetings.
So they actually have the time to do this work.
Right. It's got to be a priority.
Yeah. And, there's tons of research that shows how important this is.
Oh, yeah. Tons.
Studies by Bombura Coffey and Horner, Foreman, Lorman McIntosh, Taylor Green, and Kartube.
A lot of names.
I know, just like rattling them off.
But they all say the same thing.
They all say administrator support is crucial.
Absolutely.
But I was reading something interesting
Oh, what's that?
by McIntosh and his team,
Okay.
and they suggested that administrator support
Mm-hmm.
might not directly impact sustainability.
Interesting.
It's more like it works indirectly.
Okay, how,
Influencing other things,
like what?
like how well the school's PBIS team functions
Oh, that's interesting.
and how well the school uses data
To make decisions.
to make decisions.
That makes sense.
So it's not just about the principal, like, giving a thumbs up,
Right.
say, yeah, PBIS is cool.
It's about creating the conditions.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about creating those conditions for success.
Okay.
So what if administrator says they support PBIS,
Yeah,
but their actions don't really match up?
that's a good question.
What happens then?
Yeah, what kind of message does that send?
Right? It seems like that would send a really mixed message
It would definitely send a mixed message.
and probably undermine the whole effort.
It probably would, yeah.
So even if an administrator has good intentions,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't actively create those necessary supports,
Right.
it can actually hinder the sustainability.
It can, because actions speak louder than words.
Actions speak louder than words.
And you know what else is really interesting?
What's that?
Is that the research shows
Mm-hmm.
that a really strong, well-functioning PBIS team
Okay.
that knows how to use data,
Uh-huh.
that's like a key ingredient for sustainability.
So the team itself is really important.
The team is crucial.
Not just the administrator,
Right.
but the team that's actually doing the work.
Exactly.
And the administrator's role is to support that team,
to empower them.
to empower them.
To give them what they need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, like,
Yeah.
we need more research
What?
on these teams,
Yeah, how they work?
how they work.
What makes them effective?
What makes them effective? Like, what's the best way to structure them?
Right. Do they need certain skills?
Do they need certain skills? How do they communicate?
How do they use data?
How do they use data? All of that.
That's a great area for future research.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about administrator support.
Yeah, that first pillar.
That first leg of the table.
Right. Now let's move on to the second one.
Okay, what's that?
Ongoing professional development and technical assistance.
Okay, professional development. That makes sense.
It does, right?
Teachers need training
Teachers need training.
to implement PBIS effectively.
And it's not just like a one-time thing.
Right, it's ongoing.
It's ongoing. Because even if everyone gets that initial training,
Mm-hmm.
things change.
Things change. People leave, new people come in.
New people come in.
Yeah.
And you know what's really interesting?
What's that?
Is that there's some research that shows
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of teacher preparation programs
Mm-hmm.
don't actually prepare new teachers very well in things like behavior management.
Oh, wow. So they're coming in unprepared.
They're coming in unprepared.
It's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a new teacher recently,
Uh-huh.
and she was saying, like, she felt completely overwhelmed
By the behavior?
by the behavior in her classroom.
Yeah. It can be a lot.
She just didn't feel equipped to handle it.
And that's understandable.
Right. And so without that adequate training
Yeah.
in those, like, proactive and positive strategies,
Mhm.
it's easy to fall back on those more reactive approaches.
Right. The old ways.
The old ways.
Yeah.
Which aren't really in line with PBIS.
Not at all.
So it's like this vicious cycle
Yeah.
where you're not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So you resort to these less effective strategies,
Which don't work as well.
which don't work as well.
And then you get more frustrated.
And then you get more frustrated.
Yeah.
And the kids aren't learning.
It's a lose-lose situation.
It's a lose-lose. So that ongoing professional development is crucial
Absolutely.
to fill those gaps in training
Mm.
and to keep everyone up to date on those best practices.
Right.
But you also mentioned technical assistance.
I did.
What's the difference between professional development
Okay.
and technical assistance?
So professional development is more about like the general knowledge and skills.
Okay, the broad stroke?
Yeah, the broad strokes,
Fine.
whereas technical assistance is more individualized
Mm-hmm.
and ongoing.
Okay.
It's about helping schools and teachers apply those principles
Right.
in their specific context.
So it's more hands-on.
more hands-on, more practical.
Okay.
So it might involve things like consultation,
Mhm.
coaching, problem solving,
Okay.
tailored to the needs of that particular school.